If you're wondering how much you'll need to save for retirement, keep watching this video. Welcome back to the Mullooly Asset Show. I'm your host, Casey Mullooly, happy to be back with you for this week's video. And it must be important because I've got the suit on. It's always important though. So how much do you think you'll need to live on in retirement? There's no clear-cut answer that works across the board for everyone. And the real answer for you is more highly specific to your individual circumstances. And it depends on another question or two. And that is, how much do you plan on spending in retirement, and what kind of lifestyle do you live in retirement? The answers to those questions are really going to drive the answer to the question of how much you'll need to live on. But I think it's helpful to talk about ballpark numbers, what other people think, what some people in the industry think, and some rules of thumb that are out there. So let's get into that. Amy Arnott, who's a great writer over at Morningstar, wrote about how Fidelity did a study looking at this exact question, and they came up with a more age-based approach to answering this question. So, for example, if you're in your 30s, they found that you need about 1 times your salary. So if you make $60,000, you should have about $60,000 saved for retirement. That multiple increases all the way to until you get to age 67, full retirement age for Social Security purposes. So at age 67, the Fidelity study found that you should have about 10 times your salary at age 67 saved for retirement. So I think the averages were about $110,000 salary. So that means that you should have about 1.1 million saved for retirement by the time you're at age 67. Another number to consider, and this is more of the poll the audience version or poll the audience answer to this question, came from Bloomberg, who polled their readers on this exact question and found that the most popular range was between 3 and 5 million. And these weren't just Americans, these were people all around the globe. And the most popular answer was between 3 and 5 million. Ben Carlson, who blogs over at A Wealth of Common Sense, wrote about this article and found that only 3% of the respondents think that it will take less than $1 million. They must be spending a lot of money in retirement then. So the takeaway from all of this is that there's more than one way to retire. There's more than one way to get to enough in retirement, and you don't have to aim for just a specific round number. Amy also wrote about in her article how even if you wait until you're age 50 and you want to retire at age 67, so you got 17 years there, if you wait till age 50 and then start maxing out your retirement accounts and take advantage of catch-up contributions, that means you can save $30,000 per year. If you take this approach, you won't be too far off that $1.1 million goal at age 67. And that's only starting at age 50. That's starting late in most retirement circles. So there's that to consider. There's also the fact that Ben found the people with the highest asset bases spend the least on a percentage basis of their retirement portfolios. So just because you save all of that money doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to spend it. So would you have been better off just spending that money instead of saving it all for retirement while you could still enjoy it? These questions are highly personal, and they're complicated questions to answer, and the answers can change over time. So if you're aiming to hit a specific number in your retirement account and then retire, you should really ask yourself if that is really what you need to live on, or if that's just a round number that you got from one of these surveys, or just kind of popped into your head and you ran with it. So if you need help figuring out what is enough or what you need to live on in retirement, this is the number one question that we help folks answer and help folks work through the different iterations of retirement planning. So please get in touch with us if you need help with that. That's going to wrap up this week's video. Thank you as always for tuning in, and we'll be back with you next week.